And welcome everybody to this week's exciting episode.
Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. Razor Ramon, 1980 something. Yeah, some old school 80s quote, I imagine.
School.
Might even be 90s, I have no idea.
Might be. Probably more likely 90s, to be fair.
Yeah. The NWO days.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
it was all big back then, wasn't it? They were wrestling every Sunday morning.
Yeah, big.
Channel 4.
Yeah. Well, there's the quote. There's no points. There's still no points yet.
No points.
Although we did speak about the next set of prizes. We've come up with a better idea.
Of course.
Rather than having random points and random quotes and me losing track of it all and having to piece something out of nothing and sort all that out, I came up with the idea of when this gets announced.
An anagram.
So it could be anything. I'm not going to say the one that I told you because I think I want to go with that.
Oh, right,
But
okay.
it could be maybe, I don't know, like poltergeists are scary or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It'll be like a sentence or a phrase or something. And obviously to do with paranormality.
Yeah.
And I will give out a random letter.
Just one.
Just one random letter each episode at some point in the episode. So that way people can't just listen to the intro or skip to the end
disappear.
to get the letter. At some point I will mention a random letter in a random order. And then when I tell you that is all the letters, you have to work out what word it is. And the first person or the first three people to spell out the word and get back to us in an email will win.
Or phrase.
Whatever it is, will win the prize. And it will be better prizes than last time. So that is coming.
What's better than our T-shirts?
Possibly 2 T-shirts.
I don't believe you do it.
No, I won't. I'll think of something else.
Too tight.
It'll be a T-shirt plus maybe a little extra on the side, maybe a research book or something. Who knows? We've got time to work it out. But I will announce when I'm doing it. It probably isn't going to be until 2026. We're pretty much finished this year.
Yeah.
We'll get Christmas out of the way, and then 2026 we will...
Fresh start.
Yeah, fresh start. We'll sort it out. And that is coming. The other bit of feedback we had was people seem to love Beans.
They do.
They
do. What a lovable guy, eh?
Yeah. A lot of comparisons to Joe Wilkinson.
Yeah.
Which I never really picked up on until the comments.
I guess it's because they're only hearing his voice then.
Yeah. But now, when I listen to parts of the pod back, with that in mind, I was like, he does actually sound like Joe Wilkinson, which is fantastic for us to have our own kind of Joe Wilkinson. But no, thank you for you guys to show in Bean's support, and it was all positive messages.
A lot of support. In fact, a lot of people said that he should come on more often.
Yeah.
Keith Egerton on Patreon, which won't be a public comment that just anybody can see, but he even said you should get Beans on at least once a month.
Yeah. He has had some very good feedback, and it's really good for Beans because he's such a funny guy, and we get to work with him every day, and it's nice that other people also got enjoyment. From
because he's such a naturally funny guy. He doesn't even realise that he's doing it half the time, but he's so great to bounce off as well. It was a bit of a baptism by fire, letting him do the research and presentation on his first.
It, man.
He did. It was.
So it's one of those things. He loved it.
We love Beans, so we'll happily have Beans back. Maybe not maybe one like every month, but you know every once in a while we'll bring him on.
He'll definitely come back if he wants to. But going forward, he won't be doing any of his own research. It's safe to say. I think we got possibly 3 facts, but it's more likely 1 or 2. But bless him, it was fun either way. So big up the Beans, and thank you everyone for supporting him. So, but he loved it.
He did.
I bet you're wondering, Pirate, what we're doing today.
I was wondering genuinely what we're doing today.
Well, I've taken inspiration from one of our listeners who messaged in.
Oh, yeah, on Discord.
Yeah, they have suggested the mud flood theory or the mud flood cover-up.
Yeah, I'd have to double check, but I think that was his lordship that suggested that one.
Very possible.
Yeah.
But I have to say, lordship, this has sent me down a rabbit hole that actually has led to another rabbit hole, which I will be exploring not next week, but the week after. So I am going to dive into that. So if it wasn't for the suggestion, I wouldn't have found something that's tickled my teats even stronger than this one. So for those that don't know, the mud flood theory is a pseudo-historical conspiracy theory that claims a global cataclysmic event involving massive floods of mud occurred in the early 1800s, burying or destroying much of an advanced civilization called Tartaria, or Tartary.
Okay.
All right, you keeping up with me?
Yeah, I'm keeping up with you. I have a question already, but...
Okay, go for it.
Am I allowed to ask it this early?
Well, should I finish the opening statement?
Yeah, finish your opening statement.
So, according to proponents, this event reset human history, and the surviving remnants, such as partially buried buildings or advanced architecture, were covered up by mainstream historians to hide the existence of this lost empire. Below is a detailed breakdown based on available information.
Okay.
I should probably just mention I have got a lot of this from Reddit, Twitter, history.
Reliable places then.
Yeah, reliable places. There is no... There is a Wikipedia, but it's like 2-3 paragraphs, and it doesn't really talk about the conspiracy that much. It's just kind of like, we don't really know anything about it. This is
fair enough.
This is kind of like an internet.
My
conspiracy.
first question.
Yeah.
Is where in the world exactly is Tartaria?
I'm glad you said this pirate.
You set me up for that one, didn't you? You knew that I was going to say.
Okay, let's go through it because it will answer it. If that makes sense. So I'll give you like a little bit of history, and then it goes straight into where. So the theory is that sometime in the early 19th century, around 1830 specifically, is when they think this happened.
Okay.
A worldwide deluge of mud buried cities, landscapes, and infrastructure. This is said to explain why many older buildings have windows, doors, or entire floors below modern ground level. Which I have seen some of that, but there is an explanation. So I know. Let's get through
people
it
knew how to build basements in the 1800s.
I know. There's actually an even simpler explanation that I don't know how the conspiracy theorists haven't thought of it, but it's to do with raising things because of floods and flooding.
Yeah.
So, some proponents suggest this was caused by natural disasters, polar shifts, or even advanced weaponry, while others tie it to supernatural or extraterrestrial forces. Right, now, to answer your question, the Tartarian Empire. The mud flood is closely tied to the idea of a vast advanced Tartarian Empire that supposedly spanned much of Asia, Russia, and slightly beyond. This civilization is claimed to have had superior technology, including free energy, the big one, being free energy, wireless communication, and grand architecture in 1830.
Right.
Tartary, which is also known, historically a term used by Western scholars to describe parts of Central Asia and Siberia. It's reimagined as a unified, technological, advanced empire that was erased from history. So, does that answer your question? It was mainly Asia, Russia, Central Asia, and Siberia.
Sounds like you're directing me to literally like the middle of the taiga forest.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also it's
one of the most unpopulated places on Earth.
Yeah. There is also a little side theory that people think that some people, not all, it depends if you're dumb or not, but some people think that this is actually Noah's Ark. This mud flood is actually the story of Noah's Ark, and it's not water. It was
Mud.
Mud
That covered the earth.
Yeah.
In the 1800s.
Yeah.
Right. Not in the Old Testament. No. 7,000 years ago.
No. This was in 1830. That's just what some people believe. I'm just saying what I found, man. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the carrier pigeon. I'm just a little pigeon, just giving you information that I found online.
A stool pigeon.
I will remind people as well. Again, this is X. This is social media. This is a few theory websites. This is like I don't want to call it silly. It's kind of like a internet.
It seems to me like an ARG, like alternate reality game. You know, like Joseph Matheny would make.
Yeah. It's about to get weirder, so I can see why you think that. When I was doing this, I kind of took this as this is definitely a modern theory. Like I wouldn't have heard about this when I was deep into conspiracy theories and stuff with my mate Jerry when we were 18, 19. This thing wasn't a thing. It didn't
show up on your radar.
So I do feel like we are getting into a stage where there's internet theories, or someone has taken a theory or seen something from maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, maybe even 100 years ago, and I don't know whether it's manipulation or twisting it or just changing parts, making stuff up, but some things get traction. Like we spoke about Slender Man being a prime example. A game or a meme is now suddenly like this massive theory where people believe in it. And it started off with something so small.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like that snowball effect.
It could be.
Because I'm going to get into some weird stuff
Let's
that
go.
kind of connects, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Let's go.
So some evidence for the Great Mud Flood is buried architecture. So proponents point to buildings with submerged windows, doors, or basements as proof of a sudden mud deposition. Examples include brownstones in New York City.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
On a completely different continent.
Exactly. Okay. We're on the same wavelength today. This is the moment where I went, oh, okay, I'm not taking this as seriously as I thought this was, you know. So including New York City, Seattle's downtown, European structures with underground features, old photographs and images from the 19th century showing deserted city streets or buildings alongside muddy roads are used to argue that these structures predate their official construction dates. I said about New York.
Yeah.
Another one is one of the biggest bits of evidence.
Evidence. Loosely.
Is people think that the White House was wiped out, even though we did a pod not too long ago on the White House ghosts, and you said exactly who built the White House.
It did get renovated because, like, you can see the White House if you look online on a popular search engine for the White House images. You'll see that the front of it is either round, the awning on the front is either round or square in different photographs. So it has been renovated at some point.
Renovated, fair play. Yeah. But people are saying that the White House
got washed away under mud.
This big architecture thing before, wiped out by mud, and then it was rebuilt as the White House on top of foundations that were already there. That's what people are saying.
If it happened in 1830, the White House has only just been finished.
So they're debunked.
Yeah.
No, wrong one. But that is just one of the things. So temporary structures built for events like the 1915 Panama Pacific Exposition are claimed to be surviving Tartarian architecture, not modern constructions. Here, this is where it gets weird. Okay, I mentioned to you before the pod the theory of the Cabbage Patch Kids, or the Cabbage Patch Babies.
You've mentioned this before, yeah. I don't remember the specifics of it.
It's not worth a whole pod, in my opinion. So I am going to loosely sum it up. They think that they repopulated the world by buying and selling and giving away lots of babies and children and putting them on trains and then just delivering them like a UPS truck, like just delivering babies to certain areas to repopulate.
They could get a stork to do it.
They could do, and it just doesn't make sense because it's apparently evidence for the mud flood. So it says here, orphan trains and repopulation. Some connect the theory to the 19th century orphan trains in the US, suggesting they were used to repopulate areas after the mud flood wiped out populations. So that's the loose connection.
Right.
I looked into the Cabbage Patch Kids thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as deep as like the theorists make out. Like I would understand that if something did happen, they would have to repopulate. But I can't see like mothers and fathers signing up.
Like legal child trafficking.
Yeah, like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, maternal instincts kind of prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
Most people. I know that there are some countries in poverty where parents do happily give up their children because they can't afford it or whatever, and that is sad. But generally, I think on a global system, it's not that popular.
No, but then when you question that, the theory then changes again and say, well, that's when cloning and laboratories making babies first started happening. So you're like, okay, well, that just...
Well, in the 18... Well...
this is the thing. This is my problem with theories like this. Is like it starts off with, if you were to just say there was a mud flood and it wiped out a certain area of the planet and they had to repopulate it, that's more believable to me.
Yeah.
But then when you start
when you started going on, it was just like Siberia and Russia and China and that, like, and some of the densest forest, really, really underpopulated area of the world, I could be like, the forest's probably grown over the top of whatever was there before. I can kind of believe it. It's a natural disaster, might have wiped out a civilization that we didn't really know too much about.
Yeah.
I would imagine it would have happened earlier than 1800s, but I guess there's still tribes of people in the world today that we don't have major contact with, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so it is possible. But then when you start going on about it's on different continents as well, and there's trains of children being shuffled around the country to repopulate the area. No, this is starting to sound silly now.
This is where it lost me.
Yeah.
How does it happen in America when, like with the website, the history website, there is proof that there was a place or a part of a civilization called Tartaria.
Right.
But it was what historians use as just that's what they called that region of connecting Russia and China and other Asian countries.
Yeah.
That was just the area. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't. Mm-hmm. It's not this theory of like this whole civilization, like the ancient Egyptians and things. It was like, oh, that's that area. That's Tartaria. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, more like a province.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
So now we get into the historical cover-up. The theory claims that global powers, possibly tied to communist or Western authorities, rewrote history to erase Tartaria. A 1957 CIA document mentioning the deletion of Tartaria history is often cited, though its context is unclear. Makes sense in that one.
Right.
This is where they also lost me. Events like World War I and II saw the destruction of buildings like the Singer Building are said to have been deliberate acts to hide Tartarian remnants.
But that's like a century later.
Mm. Yeah.
And why?
The why is a big part of this theory. Because the why...
Well, it isn't really that important. It's not like there's any evidence for it being like, any kind of like major threat to the rest of the world or anything like that. It's not like we just go, got out of that one, they would have taken over the whole world.
Yeah.
If they hadn't got flooded with a landslide.
Now, I could be...
Let's bury it.
I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure Hitler in World War II wasn't that concerned about burying buildings.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like...
He'd have gone in there ransacking the place, what goodies have they got I can use?
Yeah, but they're saying it is that like this theory is like they were they were told to destroy some of these buildings to cover up the Tartarian civilization. So I'm pretty sure they had their hands full fighting off Hitler and World War II. That whole thing is completely, like, it has nothing to do with this, like, in history.
No.
So that's where it got to the theory, and I thought, there's no way I can get behind this. It doesn't make sense. This is now completely separate to the mud flood. Like, I feel like we've come so far away from the original.
What, just the whole Tartaria thing itself?
Yeah. I just don't. I don't understand. I don't believe it. It just seems a bit nuts to me. So
I can maybe understand if there was a natural disaster and there was a region that was called Tartaria, and particularly with Russia and like all the back in those days was building up, like the Soviet Union taking over countries, particularly European countries and other like Eastern sort of Asian countries and stuff like that, and creating the USSR. I can imagine there would be documents where they go, no, we don't want Tartaria anymore. We'll just erase that one from history. You know, and that's how it's gone. But I don't see why they would then, bulldozer over it. No, we cannot leave any evidence of Tartaria.
Yeah.
It does not make sense to leave this visible to the outside world,
It's funny you say that, because there is a theory, one of the original theories, comes from Russia, and it is that in the history books, Russia potentially, allegedly, back in the, 1800s, it was called Tartary. So you had the Tartarian civilization, but people would refer to Russia as Tartary or Tartary or however you want to say it. And it was the main power of the 1800s. It gained traction in Russia as a nationalist narrative before spreading globally around 2016.
Oh.
But that's the only thing I've seen about it. When I tried to look into deeper about it, it's like, no, it's always kind of been Russia, and then you had the USSR, and it's like, the history doesn't line up. So I know theorists will be like, well, they want you to
that's paint what they want you to think.
Well, Russia was Tartar. I remember my granddad. It's like, no, it just doesn't line up. Things aren't clicking into place there for me. And then this is another big one here. So the theory has spread throughout modern internet, featuring YouTube videos, Reddit forums, social media platforms, and users that have tried to bury the theory.
All the usual places you can find accurate information then.
Yes, exactly. So it just kind of go on to that a little bit. Geologically implausible is another thing here with the header of this bit. So geologists and historians dismiss the idea of a global mud flood as unsupported by evidence. Sedimentation occurs gradually, and large-scale flooding would leave clear geological markers which are absent from the claimed period.
Well, yeah.
Do I need to go on? Is there anything?
Not really, no.
Buried building foundations are explained by practical construction practices, such as building deep foundations for stability or raising street levels to combat flooding.
Yes.
As seen in Seattle. Historical record of Tartaria. Tartary was not a unified empire, but a broad term for Central Asia and Siberian regions, including parts of Mongolia, China, and Russia. Historical maps and records like those from the Qing dynasty confirm this. So, like I said, it is in history of that area being known.
Okay.
The Russian Geographical Society has debunked the idea of a suppressed Tartarian civilization. Claims of erased history ignore well-documented accounts of the region, such as the Qing dynasty's control over Chinese Tartary. So, architectural explanations. Submerged windows or floors are often due to urban development, where street levels were raised to improve drainage or accommodate growth. For example, Seattle's downtown was elevated after floods, and Chicago raised its streets in the 19th century. So not that long ago. I mean, I don't really need to read that. I've just repeated myself at this point. And then we've got a lack of primary sources. So the theory relies heavily on anecdotal evidence, cherry-picked photos, misinterpretations of historical documents. No credible primary sources support a global mudflood or a Tartarian empire with advanced technology. So there's basically no evidence for it.
Well, there wouldn't be, would there? I don't know how a global mudflood could happen. Do you know, like...
Yeah.
How does that much land suddenly just slide everywhere and bury everything?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't. I'm getting towards the end of this part anyway, but
Right.
I've got a few other bits of information. So it says here, political ties. Some sources note attempts to link the theory to American conservation or Russian disinformation, though these claims are debated and lack strong evidence. The theory's global version is less nationalistic than its Russia's origins. In 2024, the theory gained political attention when Donald Trump referenced old architecture, which some interpreted as endorsing Tartarian ideas, though this is just speculative. So again, what I've said is Trump has probably said something and someone has taken it completely out of context and started this theory up again in 2024.
Oh, yeah, probably just a passing comment about the Kremlin or something. That's old architecture, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
The mudflood theory is a fascinating example of how modern conspiracy theories blend historical revisions, architectural curiosity, and distrust in institutions. While it raises questions about gaps in historical records, which is true, we do have gaps in historical records,
Yes.
but it doesn't mean that you can just take any old theory and go, well, that has to be it because there's no other explanation.
Because there's no evidence of it.
Yeah.
This kind of feels to me like a bit of a wishy-washy flat Earth theory. Like, I've got this theory, and you can't prove me wrong, sort of thing. That's the kind of people I would imagine that are invested in this.
Yeah, pretty much. It's people trying to. It's not everyone. Sometimes you get a theory that, especially like a modern theory or a more modern theory, where I feel people like to feel special. They like to be different.
Yeah, maybe.
And we've discussed before, like there are certain people, like we know some and we work with some. You could literally say, "Oh, the sky's blue," and they'll go, "Actually, it's more of a light grey." And they love to disagree and they love to be
different.
Yeah, they love to be different.
Yeah.
And it's like, although there's nothing wrong with thinking outside the box and doing things a little different, what I'm talking about is there are people that, even with evidence, like Flat Earth,
will argue it to the toss anyway.
Yeah. They know they're wrong. They know deep down that they are wrong, but they will die on that hill because it makes them special. Or they're like, no. Every single astronaut, every single person that works for NASA, every single person that can do simple science to prove that the Earth is round. No, they're all wrong. Me and like 50 other people are right.
Yeah.
And that is mind-blowing. So I think it is kind
a
of
similar thing to that, yeah. I think so too.
Now, the only thing that I found that could potentially kind of not prove the mudflood theory correct, but could show that we are missing parts of history and things do get covered up and buried that have now been true, is this piece here.
Okay, this sounds interesting.
This is from an actual newspaper. You can find this yourselves. This is on actual noteworthy news outlets.
Okay.
So this is, as much as I hate to mention them, BBC, New York Times, Washington Post, a few people have. So
it's a popular deal.
It is a popular one. So have you heard of the 3,800-year-old Peace City that was completely buried under mud?
No.
They've just discovered it. So basically, there is another pop-up. I don't want to take an IQ or a gay test. We've been through this, internet.
I don't know why you don't screenshot these things.
I did the other stuff. That was the thing. And then this one, I was like, I'll just risk it. Can I solve these questions to see if I'm as smart as Einstein? No, I can't. I can tell you now, there's no point in doing that test. Oh my God.
Do you have coughing all over the place? Still recovering from that cold.
Do I have Alzheimer's? Take this quiz.
If you can remember to, yeah.
I think that would be evidence that you've got it, isn't it? So the recent discovery of the ancient city of Panico in Peru, it promises to reshape our understanding of early civilizations in the Americas. Sorry.
So we're now in the other hemisphere as well as a different continent, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Because apparently the mud flood did stretch
It
as
was
far
global.
as stretched as far as started off in Russia, ended up in America. So it is one of those things. These things happen, Farah. Who are we to say this didn't happen? We can only theorize. This 3,800-year-old city, a part of the Corral civilization, offers a unique glimpse into a society that thrived in harmony with its environment and other cultures. So unlike other tendencies of cities and places and societies, this place had no signs of, they found artifacts and things.
Yeah.
There was not a single weapon found.
Okay.
There was not a single fortress or wall or defense mechanism. It was this city is
peace city, yeah,
literally a city of peace, and it was buried. So it's completely under mud, clay, the ground, and archaeologists discovered it. Started chipping away, and they've discovered this whole massive city, civilization.
Where did you say that was? Chile?
In Peru.
Peru.
But it says that from the artifacts and the evidence that they found, they worked with trade and cultural exchange. So there was just no angry people. There was nothing negative about it. It seems like a more modern society that was just, well, it's obviously not modern,
but I mean,
compared to times.
If it was down in Peru, and it's a city that they're only just rediscovering, that could have been all those all the LiDAR reports that are showing the stuff in the Amazon basin. Old civilizations that were just wiped out because of diseases that were taken over there by the conquistadors and that they had no immunity. Natural immunity to, and then literally within overnight, really, within a space of 50 years, it had wiped out so much of their population, like the Aztecs and the Maya and all that sort of thing. That could be similar to that, but
they're saying as well, they've studied the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas, all of the Americans, all that part of history, different ones, and they're saying that this is literally the first society that they've come across that just had nothing but peace and love, and it was in their nature to just be peaceful and not have war. So
and they're quite easy to wipe out, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The archaeologist that is leading the excavation of Panico is Dr. Ruth Shady.
Oh, okay.
So
shady guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, woman. Yeah.
Oh,
they, them. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that the name is Dr. Ruth Shady because you got to give people credit.
Yeah.
But they are still kind of excavating it and digging it up and finding stuff out about it. So it's still an ongoing thing. So I haven't really got that many statistics about it. Really, it's located in the Soup Valley. Panico. So far, they've discovered 18 huge structures, including ceremonial temples, residential compounds.
It's in a valley.
It's in the Supe Valley.
In a valley. Well, then, in a valley. Well, that could easily be attributed to a flash flood or something like that, couldn't it?
Mud flood.
Yeah, a mud flood, a landslide. Just a freak accident like that.
It says here from the
not a global event.
Not a global event, but it does say here the Corral people that were in the Panico city were designing the cities and the structures so it could withstand harsh desert conditions, incorporating seismic resistance architectural features, so against earthquakes and things. This reflects their advanced understanding of geography and environmental adaptation.
Oh,
that's very interesting there.
That is.
I wish I could tell you more about it, really, but they're still digging. They're still going for it. So that's pretty much all I got. But that was interesting that I stumbled across that, typing in like lost cities and stuff. Obviously, you're going to get Atlantis pop up. But then that popped up, and it's only been, I think, a couple months, and they're still doing it.
Oh, they only found it very, very recently.
Oh, yeah, it's very recent. So we'll keep an eye on that, because there's more stuff obviously going to come out about it. It could be bigger. It could go down into the floor. There's possibilities around this. But that was the only thing that I could find that could loosely maybe suggest that there was some sort of global mud flood, because it was buried under clay and mud.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could say that about the dinosaurs, couldn't you? You could say they were all buried in the ground. So was that a mud flood? Well, no. Because of history, we know it was the asteroid. So do you know what I'm saying? Like it's not real. It's not real evidence that it was a mud flood.
No.
But just because somewhere was found under mud.
Yeah, but I'd say 1830 is kind of recent for that kind of thing anyway.
Yeah.
I believe in natural disasters. I believe there are definitely civilizations that we've probably still yet to discover that were around in ancient times that possibly defy recorded history.
Yeah. There is a lot of history that is missing.
I think we're arrogant to think that we know it all.
Yeah, for sure. And what was the book that you covered? You did an episode on it. The Scroll, not a Scroll. Was it the Scroll?
A Scroll.
You covered something that was. The name was
the
weird.
Voynich manuscript.
Yeah, the manuscript.
Yeah.
Like
no one knows who wrote it or can translate it into any other language. Yeah.
We've got stuff like that in history.
Yeah.
So it's not far fetched to think that we do know everything. Like we just don't. There's stuff out there. I watched that Graham Hancock show on Netflix, and and other providers available. So I'm pretty sure. I don't quote me directly on it, but he said we're missing like 100,000 years of human history that we just don't know about, or we just don't have the evidence, and we're trying to piece things together. But it is very possible that we can only get so far, and then we just have to say, well, we don't know. And there's nothing wrong with saying we don't know.
Yeah.
But what's dangerous is trying to piece things together and say, well, because there's no evidence for this period of time, this is what must have been happening. So that's evidence for X, Y, Z. And it's like, if we don't know, we just don't know.
We just don't know. But it's the same with like all of history and prehistory. It's like the dinosaurs. We only know the dinosaurs that were around by the unlucky few that actually managed to meet the conditions to get fossilized.
Yeah.
Which is actually, kind of... They're very specific conditions to actually produce a fossil.
Yeah.
So, 99% of everything that ever lived, we don't know about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And history is an odd thing, because I've said on the pod before, and it's the one fact that blows my mind, is in history we're kind of taught through film, media, stories, books, whatever, that cowboys were around for hundreds of years. It was 30 years.
Yeah.
And when I heard that fact, that literally changed my mind and my outlook on history and how
the Wild West.
It all works and stuff. Because you just think in your mind, oh, cowboys, Indians, it must have been like 200 years. And you're like, it was start to finish like 30 years.
Yeah.
And you're like, that is nuts.
Yeah.
That is actually nuts that cowboys are 30 years. And you can Google this. I'm not talking
like
rubbish.
the Wild West is a period of it's only a short period in history, isn't it?
It's just crazy, because I still now think it's like, it's 100 years, but no, it's not. So time frames of history is just wild. But going back to the original thing at stake here, the mud floods.
The mud floods, yeah. Sorry, God.
Personally,
on the scale,
I don't like it, man. I'm going to admit it. I don't like it.
I'm definitely not above 5.
No.
To be honest, it seems a bit flimsy anyway. I've said all the way through, an actual global landslide is impossible to do. There's not enough mountains on the planet to cover the planet with excess soil, and knock down buildings and all that sort of thing. Yes, I think local mud floods, local natural disasters can explain things. Excuse me. And that does happen all over the planet, but again, it's entirely localized, and different architectural teams are constantly going around digging up things that we're always going to find things that just don't quite fit with recorded history, because we don't know of all of history. People weren't keeping records very well back then.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And I know there's things like theorists will say people will want to rewrite history and paint narratives, and we know that stuff happens. Like, we see it in the media, and they want you to believe in a certain way and have ideologies and think a certain way. But I think people know deep down what is rubbish and what's not. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
people can be easily led in things, but there's just, like, people can't force you to think a certain way. Like, does that make sense? Like, without getting too deep and stuff. If I'm sticking on the news and they're telling me, like, oh, you have to support
this action for
I
know
know
what you're getting
Sweden in the World Cup because England was once part of Sweden. I know, like, well, that's a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
But if some people will watch that news and go, oh, okay, well, that's true. I've read that one thing, or I've seen that one thing, and it's true. I just think this theory is just all over the place. Like, I don't think anyone's trying to rewrite history.
I don't think it's even been made up by one person.
No.
It seems like people have plucked the idea out of here and there and just gone, oh, well, we could apply it to that. And,
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like you say, it's flimsy. Like,
very flimsy.
I don't see the idea of a big, massive mud flood. And then the reasonings for trying to erase a civilization rather than harbouring and actually using that technology in architecture. Why would you not use it? Why would you destroy it? For what reason? It just doesn't make sense. So
I'll give it a 2 out of 10, simply on the fact that, yes, there are archaeologists digging up stuff that is buried, but an actual global event mud flood, no, I'm not buying.
Yeah, yeah. I think a 2 is fair. I was actually going to go around about a 2 anyway, for the same reason. I think the fact that they have discovered Panico and it's still ongoing and they're discovering stuff about it. Like, okay, well, that was buried, so it can happen. But like you say, the scale.
I mean, look at like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. They reckon that's even older than the pyramids.
Yeah. So there's history. That
always stuff to be discovered.
It's true. It's true, and we don't fully understand human history. I'm going to give it a 2.5, and the extra 5 is purely because I don't want to upset. I think it was Lordship.
Yeah, it was Lordship who suggested it.
Because they might not actually believe in it themselves and just check it out.
I think his note was just like something like, just watch this hour episode on YouTube. It's an interesting theory. Check it out or something.
Well, I wish I'd found that video before I'd done my research, because that might have some other stuff. But from most accounts, there's no evidence. So, yeah, I'll give it a 2.5. You're giving it a 2. I think that's actually fair, considering it's a bit all over the place. And how do you get all the way from Russia to America to Europe and
down to Peru?
Yeah, it just doesn't sit right with me. I just think it's all rubbish. I think it's just an internet modern theory. And I also think sometimes people try and rage bait things. Do you know what I mean? Like, some people will just come out with theories like...
I think if it was a global event, there'd be more evidence of it and more people would be talking about it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
So I'm convinced at this point, Flat Earth is just to upset other people.
Yeah.
To make them angry.
It's troll bait.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And I think this is one of those things where it's just kind of like, this is a theory. And it's like, what? People believe that? Okay, well, each to their own. But yeah, not if you're a Flat Earther, then you can... off. So. Yeah, that's it. That's the mud floods. Sorry, that's all I got.
No, that's all right. That's good. That's good. That's brought us, I guess, nicely to time.
Bit of a shorter one, is it? Yeah.
Well, it's not one of our longest ones, but it's about average.
Sorry, guys. I don't know if there is someone that believes in Tartarian theory and mud floods, and I've missed something. Please give us the evidence that the internet doesn't have.
They will.
Like, please, because I searched the internet and it just kept taking me to social media, and there was no actual websites that really gave any evidence or anything. And those websites were basically saying what we've said, where it's like, not really any evidence. It's a bit far-fetched. It's a modern theory.
Yeah.
There's not much to it. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then you go on social media and it's like, oh, actually, there's a tie-in with the Cabbage Patch Babies. And then they're trying to rewrite history. And then World War I and II was actually because they wanted to blow up the architecture so we would erase history. And it's like all this other stuff comes into it. Only on social media.
Very far-fetched.
So it's very far-fetched. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks, guys.
It's been a good episode.
Yeah, it's been all right.
Till next time. It's been a laugh.
Yeah, we've had fun.
Till next time, I've been Pirate.
I'm Josh.
And this has been Paranormality UK. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta! Probably shouldn't have picked that.
Yeah. Or that one, really.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Bye.